Distinguished guests, Professor Rensburg, I'm deeply honoured to be the incumbent of a chair on South African art and visual culture. I'd like to sincerely thank the DST, the NRF and the University of Johannesburg, those in the DVC Office of Research, as well as particularly the Dean of my faculty, Professor Fresky, for providing me with this opportunity. Mindful that this is the first Tier 1 Saatchi chair awarded in my discipline, I'm also aware that I carry an enormous responsibility to those who've placed their trust in me to not only produce excellent work, but also to develop a new generation of researchers able to reshape how art is interpreted. The matter of developing a visually literate younger generation is in fact becoming increasingly critical, something that becomes clear if one considers recent events involving art on campuses. As this audience knows, on the 16th of February and in the course of a protest against insufficient residence accommodation at the University of Cape Town, students burned a pile of paintings removed from two residences, deeming them, in the words of one of the group, symbols of the colonizer. In the period since March last year, when a sculpture of Cecil Rhodes on the UCT campus became the subject of heated controversy, since then, art objects have been in the public and political spotlight. But I want to say to you there's a paradox here. While achieving center stage, this is not because art is regarded as important, but rather because it's little valued, still less understood. The burned images at UCT included not only a portrait of anti-apartheid campaigner Molly Blackburn, but also 5 paintings by Kerimose Richard Baholo, the first black MFA graduate at that institution. For the protesters, it seems, the artworks within the residences were not only expendable objects, but also wholly indistinguishable from one another. While all acts of arson are extremely worrying, and the destruction of property at the University of the Northwest's Mafeking campus on Wednesday is devastating, the burning of paintings is additionally problematic in, for example, its association with censorship. The protest at UCT, at least on one level, is surely symptomatic of ignorance, of a scenario in which the protesting students have not been exposed to art or its histories and have had little opportunity to recognize how images and objects provide a rich forum for gleaning new understandings about events of the past, as well as the experiences of others. Indeed, one might go further and interpret these events as intricately related to a crisis in the humanities. In a context where academic disciplines that enable critical reflection on history, heritage, identity, and representation are often marginalized or deemed irrelevant, how might one expect protesting students to reflect critically on the implications of their own actions, or indeed to see these actions in relation to other groups from the past or the present? In this current context, I'd want to suggest the awarding of a chair of South African art and visual culture could not have been more timely. Centered on questions that have immediate relevance to us in South Africa today, my discipline, art history, has a critical role to play in enabling greater understanding about how representation may not only construct, but also challenge prejudice, as well as the complex and multifaceted ways art may be linked into the values and aspirations of those whom it represents, those who purchase or display it, as well as those who make it. In a short speech such as this, I cannot begin to explore the specifics of the various projects I'm involved in, let alone the important work being undertaken by postdoctoral research fellows and postgraduates associated with my chair. But given the contention about art in the public domain that has manifested itself over the last year, including the most recent incident on Tuesday this week, which involved an attack on a sculpture of C.R. Swart at the University of the Free State, it does seem fitting for me to end by noting that I've just signed a publication contract with Indiana University Press to co-edit a volume on public art in South Africa. This volume, like other research emanating from this chair, will, I hope, be of value to scholars in my field. But perhaps even more importantly, I hope that work such as this will play a role in developing a younger generation who, while wholly motivated to achieve social justice, also possess a level of critical and historical understanding that would make it unthinkable for them to drag paintings onto a university concourse and set fire to them. Thank you very much.